Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much to my subscribers and all your beautiful comments every time I upload. And to all the people in the groups, thank you so much for your support and also your beautiful comments and also your questions. And for the newcomers, I hope you like what you see and you join me through this beautiful journey of mine that I absolutely love creating. And you become part of the family by subscribing. So all you have to do, click that subscribe button. It's free. Tutorial is free. Click that bell notification so you get notice of every upload that I do. And if you have any questions, please feel free. I am here to help you with any creations that you are doing of mine. Either leave on the comment below or email me, and I am here to help you. Now, I might not answer you right away because of the different country time zone, but I do get back to you. So please do question anything that you would like to know or any suggestions that you would like to see me create. That would be kind of interesting too, something different out of my comfort zone. I also want to thank very much Karen Coffey from the owner administrator of crochet group therapy. Amazing woman, unbelievable human being, always there for everybody and their needs and their opinions and their advices. She's just an amazing person and best group so far from all of the groups. As you all know, I'm involved in quite a few groups, and absolute my favorite group, Crochet Therapy. Never know, you might want to join that group and be part of that family, which is wonderful. I'm sure you will not regret. Thank you so much, Karen, for all your time that you dedicate to me, which is sometimes quite often, that I usually call her when I'm confused about a certain pattern, that I'm not sure if I should add this or add that. It's always best to have an outside opinion than our own visions, because us designers, creators, we come up with these ideas and these visions, and we try to do the best that we can to create them in something different, that people can relate to and enjoy making, and have something beautiful, on their tables or counters or whatever they would like to be used for. And we have an idea of it, and then as we create, we're like, there's something missing. I don't know about this color. I don't know about this stitch. So, you always go for a second opinion. And trust me, I always run to her for that second opinion. She seems to be very good at it. So I thank you so much. Also, this table runner will be called Table Runner Blossom. And I couldn't come up with a name either. So I asked her if she had an idea. What should I call this table runner? And she says, well, the flowers, they look like blossom. So, and she Googled it and sent me the picture. So it absolutely did. So I said, oh my God, what a brilliant woman and an idea. So it will be called Table Runner Blossom, thanks to Karen Coffey also, that helped me out with the name. Thanks to her, I'm naming it after her opinion. So thank you so much. Also, big shout out to my wonderful lady, Karen Young. She's the moderator of that group. Love her to pieces. And a wonderful person also. So big shout out to you, my dear. Big hugs and kisses. And of course, to everybody in that group. A big shout out to every single one of you that have been always very kind to me and beautiful comments. So a big hug to every single one of you. And of course, to the other groups also. Big hugs to everyone, and thank you so much for all your beautiful comments. So we're going to get started on the Blossom Table Runner, as you can see. And I'm sure you remember the pattern. I just launched it a few days ago, which I call it the Spider pattern centerpiece. Now, normally when I create these centerpieces, I always end up, of course, it's to put to use, so I do table runners with it. And so I wasn't sure when I created at that point what kind of flowers I was going to do, so I came up with these blossom flowers. Wasn't sure what I was going to add to the end of the pattern. I thought of putting green leaves and so on and so forth. Then again, I called Karen. I said, Karen, this is not looking right. She goes, it's just nice, beautiful the way it is. So I left it as it is. So what I will do is I will leave the link below for the spider centerpiece. Now you can create it out of here or any other one, any other centerpiece that you wish. I have quite a few centerpieces in my tutorials. You can choose from there or anywhere else you would like and add these flowers onto it. So you have that option, and we are going to get started. So I'll let you know about the threads. These are 100% 4-ply, which is 4 strings. For some of you that keep asking me what's a 4-ply, they're 4 strings. These are Portuguese threads. I am in Portugal, but I'm off the islands, so I get these threads from mainland. And I have this terracotta in 4-ply also. The difference is this 4-ply, which I get it here on the island, it's a little bit thinner than, give you an example. I try to always give you an example of these things. It's a little bit thinner, and the best is to, let me show you here. Must have a little bit left over from the flowers. So, and these are 4-ply just the same. Imagine that. They're true 4-ply, but now if you look at it closely enough, you can see that the terracotta one is thinner. So it not necessarily means that my 4-ply is exactly the same thickness or thinness as yours in your country. You have to go with what fits you best. Now, the only thing I can tell you is this 4-ply on the thicker, its thicker side for the cream color. This is exactly the same thickness as Aunt Lydia #3 cotton. If you want to go smaller piece and not as wide and not as big, well, the length, you can go the length you want. It's by the decorations. This pattern has 3 decorations on it. The one that I'm going to do the tutorial has only 2, so it's smaller. You can do a #10 Aunt Lydia, which makes it a smaller centerpiece, and it's perfect sizing also for that. So I'm using needle #3. Of course, it's all like busted up and broken up. I've put acrylic, because I'm a nail tech. I put acrylic gel on it just to keep it together because it's melting away as you can see. I mean, poor thing. It's been years working, and I can't seem to find these type of needles here in the country. So I try to keep it as much as I can because I absolutely love and comfortable working with this needle. You're going to need a scissor, and also want to remind you, you don't have to do it exactly in this color. You alternate colors. You can do the flowers in blue and have the center, the little stems in the center a yellow. You can have it white. You can do it in purple. I mean, can you imagine? It's just gorgeous. So many different colors you can play with. You can do it all green. Choice is yours. You can do it in peachy pink. I mean, you know, there's so many ways to play with it. So we're going to get started, and you have the lavender. Now look at that. Wouldn't it be so gorgeous, lavender? Gives me ideas to do future tutorials. Okay, so we're going to get started on this, and if you have any questions, please feel free. This is very simple to do. I will leave the link to the pattern below. You can create this pattern and add these flowers to it, or you can just go through my videos and you'll see many other patterns there, centerpieces that you can take from and create it from there. So this is going to be a very easy, this is very easy to create, but it does take a little bit of work because you have to do 6 petals per flower and 2 petals in between them. So it's quite a bit of work to do these flowers. But then again, if you don't put the little effort in it, how can you end up with beautiful pieces, right? You want beautiful pieces and very high end. Well, then you got to put the extra little work on it. You know, it's like saying, what's a Christmas tree without a decoration, right? Christmas tree is beautiful. It's right there. But if you put the decor, I mean, you know, then it turns out to be a beautiful Christmas tree, right? So we're going to get started, and let's do this and give me your feedback. What do you think about this, okay? Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, you guys, so the first thing we need to do is we need to use the green. Another thing you have to do is you have to work this on the wrong side of the pattern. And I'll tell you why. Because once you create the flowers, we need to, we're going to create 6 petals and attach it together, and it flips to the other side. So when you turn it, the flower will be facing the right side. So we have to work on the back part first. I guess I didn't tie in my loose end over here. So we'll do that now. And just hide it through here because the other rows are going to go right on top of it. So you have to work on the opposite side, on the back part of the pattern, in order for your flowers to stand out on the right side, okay? And I'll show you once we have the first flower created. Okay, so now we're going to make the stems for the flowers. So you would slip stitch knot. I'm going to start by the corner, okay? So in the corner, we are going to go right where the stitch is, okay? No matter what pattern you're going to be using. And of course, if you're creating this one, then it will be easier for you to understand. So we're going to single, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 chain. Inside of the same space, we're going to do a double crochet. We're going to make little V's, let's say, 1 chain separation. Inside the same space, we're going to do another double crochet because we don't want that flower to be stretching here at the end on the corner. We don't want it to be pulling. So 1 chain again. And we are going to come into the center of this one here with a double crochet. Now we're all this pattern with 1 chain separation. This pattern all the way around will be made of little V's. So these are the little stems, okay? 1 chain separation. We're coming into the middle of this first double crochet here with double crochet because we cannot have them too far apart or they're just going to crumple up. They're going to pull too much and it's going to look awful. 1 chain going to the middle of your square here, 1 chain. So it's little V's all the way around, 1 chain into the middle here because we don't want it to be too far apart. 1 chain back into the same place, 1 chain into the center of the square, 1 chain, and again, and 1 chain, 1 chain, back into the same space. So this is pretty much what you're creating, okay? 1 chain into the center, 1 chain into the center of the square, 1 chain. So we're going to do it this way all the way around. So I'm going to finish this row and I'll meet you at the corner, at this corner. These are the edge of the pattern, okay? Okay, so we're arriving in the corner. I did my 1 chain and you're going to grab your last double crochet there. We're going to do the 3 double crochets with 1 chain separation here on the corner too, because once, I mean, if the flower ends up on this corner, you don't want it to be stretching, pulling. Okay, so next space. So these are the sides of the pattern. And again, you're going to do these little stems, V shape on each space. Okay, so it's like next row, we're on the side of the pattern, 1 chain, next space, 1 chain in the same space. So you're going to end up with this, okay? Only here on the corners, the 4 corners, we're going to do 3. Because if the petals of the 6 petals to create the flower falls on here, then we don't want it to be pulling too much together. We want it to give it enough space. So we're going to create 2 petals inside of this in order for it not to pull. So again, 1 chain, you come into the next row, next space. So very simple, like I told you from the beginning. It's just going to take a little bit of work of creating the flowers, but it's worthwhile, let me tell you, because this is an absolute gorgeous piece on top of the table, which, by the way, people, at the end of the recording, I will have the reveal shots as usual. And I also do a little bit of a recording with it on display on top of the table or the counter, wherever I think it's best to go to record the little video. Okay, so always stay tuned to the end so you can see the end result. Even if you're not creating, you can just fast forward to the end to see what that little video looks like, the pattern on display. And you continue on each space. So very simple, nothing to it. And getting to the corners, you do your 3 double crochet because we need that space. Okay, so make sure you know that. Whoops, I was doing 3 here, not a smart way. Sometimes I'm just focusing on talking that I forget what I'm doing here. I guess I'm still not used to all of this. The channel has not been up a year yet, so it will be a year now on the 27th of April. So this is a little bit getting adjusted to. And if you saw some of my videos at the beginning, I had no ideas on the codes. I had Nancy Strand teaching me, which is a follower, teaching me how to say the codes of these stitches because I had no clue how to say them in English, and finally I learned the most important. Thank you, Nancy. And I had no idea what the codes were because I could not translate it. It had not the same meaning to it. But thank God I finally got the basic codes in my system that I can refer to now. So I apologize for that for some of you that are trying to follow my first videos, and there's absolutely no codes there except my own way of explaining things. Which I had no idea. Funny, you know, because sometimes people would say, yes, but can't you translate it to English the same way as you would say it in Portugal? No, because they don't have the same meaning. It's completely different meanings, so I could not translate it. Funny how sometimes you just can't translate certain things. I'll give you an example like single. When you say single in Portuguese, they're going to call it the smallest. So, you know, how am I supposed to, like, I'm going to be doing a single, I'm going to say, okay, now we're going to do the smallest. It makes sense, the smallest, because the single is a small stitch, right? But not in the crochet world for people to understand what I'm trying to explain. So, all right, people, so it's going to look funny when you're doing it. It looks like all crumpled up because it's very close together, but it's supposed to be that way because once you put the stands, it takes, not stems, the petals, it takes 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? It's going to take 6 of this space here to make the petals, and it's going to pull together, so then it's going to come out perfect. Okay, so continue yours, I'll continue mine, and I'll meet you at the end of the other end where we started with the green, so we can close it up, cut the thread. We're done with the green afterwards, and we're going into the terracotta collar. So I'll meet you at the end, people. Okay, so we've pretty much reached the end. We do our 1 chain, and we're just going to close it up here on the 3rd space here. Cut our thread. I like to use a small needle to tuck all my leftover threads and usually make a knot on most of my work just to make sure that nothing comes apart. And whatever excess I have, I cut it off. So these ones I bring up here because then the flowers are going to cover it. So they're safe and secure in this one. I'm just going to make a little knot here on the corner just to make sure that nothing ever comes apart. And that's pretty much done. Okay, so now we're going to go into the terracotta color. And remembering, we are working on the wrong side. So we always have to work. This is the right side. Okay. So we got to work on the wrong side in order to get our flower on the right side. So we're going to do the slip stitch knot. Now I'm going to start here. You can start pretty much anywhere, but I'm going to start in the corner here, just on the, let's say there's 3, 4, 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to start here on this one. And you do a single, 1 chain, come back into the same space, doing double crochet, again into the same space and a double crochet. Now if you don't want to do the can't think of the name, good God, the peacock, you don't have to, you can continue on your double crochet the same amount, but I'm going to do 1, 2 chain. I'm going to come inside and grab these 2 and slip stitch right into it, not single, okay? Because when you do a single, it separates, and when you do directly a slip stitch, it closes in together. So right after that, double again, double again. We're gonna have a total of 6, including the first single that we did. 1 chain, and back into the same space and close it with slip stitch. Next space. So we're going on the second petal now. Single, 1 chain, double, double, 1, 2 chain. And I'm only doing 2 for the peacock because I don't want the peacock to be too big. These flowers are tiny, so I don't want the peacock to overpower the flowers. And we're going to do a slip stitch right away. And then 2 more double crochets. Okay. 1 chain, back into the space and close it with single. So now you got your 2 petals. Next space, single, 1 chain into the same space, double, same space again, double, 2 chain. We're going to close it with slip stitch right away and not single, double, double, 1 chain and single. So basically you're closing out the same way as you're starting. You're starting with a single and a chain, 2 double crochets in the same space. This is all in the same space. 2 chain, grab both, bring it out, and single. 2 double crochets, same thing as we did here. 1 chain, same thing as we did the first one. and single. So now you got your 4, single, 1 chain, 2 double crochets, 2 chain. We're gonna slip stitch, 2 double crochets again, 1 chain, single. So it's going to look like that, funny, until we tie it all in together. So we have 5 now. We need 1 more, single and a chain, 2 double crochets, 2 chain. We're going to slip stitch, 2 more double crochets, all in the same space, 1 chain and 1 single. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, remembering we are on the wrong side of the pattern, right? Pull your thread a bit. So I know some of you will have a hard time trying to do this, which is very simple once you get the hang of it right from the start. So pull your thread to the front. Let me not lose my loop here. Now I'm doing it this way so you guys can see it, because normally I would just go right through it, having more of that experience. Come to your first, where you have your single, right? We did the what do you call it? The single there. You have the single crochet and 1 chain. So come to your 1 chain, grab your thread and tighten it enough, because you don't want too much space in between them. Now if you find that it's pulling too much, make sure that you grab both threads there, so you don't have an open gap. Okay, close it well. Gonna get you a little bit more closer. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3 chain, and don't tighten it too much and not too loose either. Into the next space we're going to create our other paddle. Okay, so single, 1 chain. We're going to have always 2 paddles in between the flowers. 1, 2 chain, and of course they're going to be facing backwards, but who cares? Flowers cover it. It's not like you can see it, and it gives it a nice reflection on the flowers. So then you create your paddle the same way. So now you need to have 8 paddles before you can close the next flower. Okay, I'm just gonna do a couple more here. Single, 1 chain, 1, 2 double crochet, 2 chain, close it, slip stitch, 2 more double crochet. Good God, the dogs see cats, they go crazy. Sorry about that, people. 1 chain and 1 single. Next space, single, 1 chain, and 2 double crochet. And I think most of the time the cat, it's the neighbor's cat, and most of the time the cat comes around and does that on purpose, because the gates are up. The cat knows the dogs can't get out. So the cat comes and teases the dogs, and they go nuts. Drives me up the wall. Okay, so basically, and I made a mistake already. We're going to go back to that. Sorry about that. Yep. So the 2 paddle, well, you could have left it like that if you wanted to, but I'm not. The 2, after we close in our flower, the 2 next paddles, we're going to do a direct. There's no peacock. Okay, sorry about that. I was yapping away. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 chain, and we're going to close it in. Okay, so we have 1 paddle. Again, next space, single, 1 chain. So that would be considered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 chain, and close it in. So this is our second petal that's going to be in between. And sorry about that mistake. Too concentrated here on yapping away. So now we start. We're going to create the 6, right? Because we're always going to have 2 in between the flowers. So now we're going to create the 6 petals of the flowers. So same thing again. So it's like having 3 double crochet. We're doing the 2 chain, slip stitch. We're doing the picot and 2 double crochet, and then 1 chain and close it in. So you know this is part of your flower because it's got the picot already, okay? And this has no picot because it's just the petals. Now I'm just going to continue and show you so you can have an idea what it's going to look like. And we continue on with 2 double crochet, 2 chain. We're going to slip stitch. We're going to do 2 more. Actually, 1 more double crochet here. 1 chain and close it up. Okay, that looks all funny until you close in a flower, then it all comes in together. Okay, so I'm going to do my 6 petals with the picot, okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we did our first flower here. We did our 2 petals that's going to separate the flowers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 petals for the flower. Now we're going to come in between the petal and the one with the picot. Gee, my brains are like, can't think of these names today. What's wrong with me? Now I'm going to try to bring the into the front because I don't want it to pull it from the back. Okay, so basically you are in between. You're going to close it very tightly and 1, 2, 3 chain. You come automatically into your next space to do your paddle that separates. Okay, so 1 single, 1 chain. That would be considered 1 double crochet. We're going to do it 6 times. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th one is 1 chain, like we started at the beginning, and single. And this is your paddle to separate them. Next space, single, 1 chain. We're going to create 5 more, or actually 4 more double crochets because the first one's considered already 1. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your 6th one is 1 chain and single. So basically it's the same thing like creating this one with the picot without the picot. Okay, so now I'm going to turn to work and show you why we needed to work on the wrong side. Just back it up a bit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because when you're tying the flower, you're tying the flower to the right side. So basically it's facing the right side now, okay? Give you a little bit more. And you'll have the 2 petals that separate to give it space, or else they would have been like this if you don't put these 2 petals in between. It's going to be crumpled up like that. We don't want that. We want them to lie just like that, side by side, and give them their space to breathe. And when we're tying it together in the back, that's why we need to give it a nice tight closing so we don't have a big opening back here because there's no paddle, right? We're just attaching one paddle with the other. So there's not like jumping from one stem to another so they can be closed the way they are here. So of course we're going to have a little bit more of an opening. It's normal. But once you have these paddles in the back, it all ties in together, right? So we're going to do one more time, and then you're on your own, and I'll continue mine, and then I will have it at the end of the video. And I just want to remind you that up top, there's 3 little buttons. You can click on there if the video is too fast for you. Click on the 3 little buttons, go to settings, and slow down the speed you would like. Sometimes I can be in my bubble and just blah, 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 and I crochet fast. So, okay, so we did the 2. We did the 2 petals separation, and we're going to start creating the petals with the picot. So 1 single, 1 chain. So that'd be considered 2 and 3. 1, 2 chain separation. We're doing the picot only with a slip stitch. And we're going to do 2 more double crochet, 1 chain, and we're going to close it in with single. So you got your first petal for the flower. Next space, single, 1 chain. We're going to do 2 more double crochets, so that will equal the 3. 2 chain, come in, grab both threads there, close it in with slip stitch. We're going to do 2 more double crochet, one chain, and 1 single. So now we got the 2 petals for the flower. We need 6 total always, and 2 is for the separation petals of the flowers. So all you have to do is remember that. So in reality, you always have to have 8, counting the petals of the separation in order to close. So that's one way to keep track, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to have 8, and then you close it into the 6th. Okay. That's another way to keep track of how many you have done or how many you need left to get that 1 flower in. Okay. 1 chain, we're going to close it in. Next space, single, 1 chain, and 2 more double crochets before the picot. 2 chain for the picot, and slip stitch. Now, most of the time, we know that we're used to closing that picot with single. We don't want that because it's going to leave an opening here in the middle, okay? We don't, not unless you want your flower to be open in the middle, that's fine too. I don't, so. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you know you have 2 more to make, right? 1 single, 1 chain. So 2 more double crochet, that would be 3, 2 chain, slip stitch, and 2 more double crochet, 1 chain, and single. So now we have 1 more petal to do. Double crochet, 2 chain, I'll probably do a tutorial on the round dollies with the blossom flower too. So if you don't want to have it as a long table runner, you could have it as a dolly with the blossom flower. So stay tuned for that tutorial too. That's why it's important to be subscribed so you can get the notifications. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right, all together. Now, we don't count these 2. We're going to close in. So if we do count 1, 2, in between 2 and 3, we're going to close it in because you need to have your 6 petals of picot for your flower. So you come in between the picot and the other petal. You're going to turn it. You're going to grab it. You're going to pull your thread because you don't want it too loose. To pull my thread the other way, maybe. I'm used to just keep going, you know, I'm like stopping and taking out of the needle for you guys. Okay, so we're going to close it nice and tight. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3. Tight, but not too tight. And we're going into the next one. We don't want it too loose either because we want the flowers and the petals to be together, not too separated, okay? But we don't want it too tight because we don't want to crumple up either, okay? Oops, no, it's not picot, it's a separation flower. See, I was going to do the same mistake again. Okay, so we did 3, 4, 5, 1 chain, and single would be your 6. So we have the first petal with no picot, and we need 1 more. That's the 2 petals of the separation of the flower. So that's 3, 4, 5, 1 chain, and single. Okay. So now, just fix it up here a bit so you can have an idea. I know my camera doesn't do justice on these colors, but it really is gorgeous color. Okay, so basically you have the 2 petal separation, and then we go on and create our flowers again. Of course they'll all crumpled up because you're working on them now, but once you flatten them, straighten them out, they become nice and flat. And look how gorgeous that looks. Well, people, this is about it. So, okay, we're going to get to the corner. I'll get to the corner and come back and show you so there is no confusion also, okay? I was almost closing out, but I need to show you the corner. Let me just finish mine. You can go ahead and do yours until the corner, and I'll come back to you in the corner. So, I did my flower. We're at the corner. Nothing changes, the same thing. You just continue on the 1 single, 1 chain. You continue on. It doesn't matter if the flower is not centered in the corner. I mean, you go with the stitch, you know what I'm saying? So we're doing the 2 petals that separate the flowers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the 6th. Next space. 1 single, 1 chain. 3, 4, 5, 1 chain. So now I've done my 2 separation flowers, petals that separate the flowers, okay? As you can see here, they'll have their, and then we continue on doing the same thing. Create our petals for the flowers. So nothing changes. I mean, it ends up wherever it ends up, you know, there's no specific count where the flower is going to be falling on, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't change anything on the pattern. One, 2. Trying to hide my thread here from the previous row. Whatever is left over, we cut up. Okay, so we pretty much continue that. Now, coming to the end of the flowers, the petals, and if it happens that you are, let's say, you're coming to the end of, to unite your last stitch. Let me just pull this here. So you're creating your flowers, now you have your petals. Now, but it happens that your 2 petals end up over here. Example, because it can happen. I mean, it's not like there's a stitch count. Your two separation petals from the flowers can end up over here. And you're saying, oh my God, but I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 left that I don't have. I don't have the 6 petals to do a flower. Well, no issue. You can jump either. Instead of creating your separation flower here, a petal here, you can just go from here to here, and then from here to here, and tie it in. So this is not going to change anything by jumping from here to here. Okay? You can do that, or you can just create a flower with 4 petals. But remembering, if you're having, you need to always have those 2 petals separation. So it wouldn't be good to create 4 flowers here, because where's your petal separation here, right? So if you, and let's say this is your, let's say your last flower stem of the 6 ends up over here. Okay, so you need your 2 space, no problem. You do it here. If you only have 1 space left, no issue. Just create 1. I mean, it's not going to change anything on the pattern. I have on that one that I created. I have only 1 petal separation in my corner that I finished off. So it doesn't change anything, okay? Just as long as you don't have the 2 flowers crumpled up, at least try to put 1 petal separation in. And this pretty much, as you can see, we are on the corner here, so it doesn't matter. By the time you're going to finish your 6, you're going to come in and tie it in from here. So we're going to have this. So you're going to catch half of the corner with flower, right? Doesn't really, I mean, what's going to change here? Nothing. It just proceeds on, okay? And this is pretty much what it's going to look like. I mean, you saw it on the other one there. And then afterwards, you just fix your flowers, because now they're all crumpled up, obviously. Okay, so I thank you so much, everyone. I will finish my pattern and put it on display. And don't stress over at the end if you don't meet the same amount of stitch. Just jump or create extra. Very simple to do. It's not complicated. And I thank you so much again. And please, for the newcomers, subscribe so you can help to grow the channel. Please give it those thumbs up on your way out if you haven't already, so you can circulate the video. And thank you so much once again, everybody. I'm very grateful and humble for all of you. Thank you so much. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.